never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Hump Day Wednesday to everybody out there. This is the final hump day before college football begins. Week 0 is coming up in about 72 hours, all depending on when you watch this video. But it seems like we have did a top 10 countdown around college football in some way, shape, form, or fashion for about the past 2 months leading up to the season. So I can't do all those college football top 10 countdowns and then the last Wednesday before college football do a top 10 countdown that's not about college football. This week, our top 10 countdown comes to us courtesy of Sports with Balls, and that is a social media page that I follow on Facebook, Sports with Balls, and it is the most electrifying college football players of all time. Now, I'll tell you their top 10 list, and then I'll tell you the one problem that I have with the list. But if you follow along and listen to the names very carefully and listen very closely and soak it in and take it in, I think you'll figure out what my problem is before I tell you. But nonetheless, without further ado, let's do the most electrifying top 10 college football players of all time according to Sports with Balls. Number 10, Ted Ginn Jr. Number 9, Tyrann Mathieu. Number 8, Devin Hester. Number 7, Lamar Jackson. Number 6, Johnny Manziel. Again, 10 through 6, Ted Ginn Jr., Tyrann Mathieu, Devin Hester, Lamar Jackson, and Johnny Manziel. And then number 5, Charles Woodson. Number 4, Vince Young. Number 3, Adrian Peterson. Number 2, Michael Vick. And the most electrifying player of all time according to Sports with Balls is Reggie Bush. Now, the only problem I have with this list is that you pretty much figured out all 10 guys on the list have played since the turn of the century. So nothing against any of the guys on the list, but you can't make me believe that anybody that played before the turn of the century wasn't electrifying. Now, if they wanted to rename it the most electrifying college football players since the year 2000, I'd have no problem with it. But you're eliminating Bo Jackson. You're eliminating Jim Brown. You're eliminating Herschel Walker. You're eliminating Homer Jordan. I could go on and on. You're eliminating Michael Irvin. and you're only doing it because they played back in the day. Now, I do understand that the game of football has changed, and now it's all about offense. So the guys that play today are obviously going to put up better numbers than the guys that played 30 years ago, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a better player. It just means the offenses now are all about scoring. Back in the day, quarterbacks would throw 25 times a game, maybe. Nowadays, there are a lot of teams where a quarterback will throw the ball 55 times a game. So obviously, if you're making twice as many passes, you should have twice as many yards, twice as many touchdowns. But it doesn't mean you're better just because you have better stats. So I know all the players that play today are going to have better numbers, but you shouldn't just put somebody on a list because they have better numbers. You should actually watch the guys play. And you can't tell me that Bo Jackson is not one of the most electrifying players of all time. So my only problem with the list is that it seems like if you played before 2000, you sucked. And that's not fair. They should rename it the most electrifying college football players since the year 2000, or the most electrifying college football players since the turn of the century, or something to let you know that it's only modern day players, because it makes it look like if you played in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s, you sucked. And that's not fair to the guys that played back in those days, because just because the game has changed since then doesn't mean that automatically all the modern day athletes are better than the older guys. Jim Brown will forever be the greatest running back of all time. I don't care what era he played in, and I don't care what stats these modern day guys put up. Jim Brown will forever be the greatest running back that football has ever seen, and nothing is going to change that. Any thoughts on this, as always, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. Why did the fish blush? He saw the ocean's bottom. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.